I have a quick question, Tanya. The step back and what it is, the step back?
In the rear, it's
Mhm.
15 feet.
In the back is 15.
Mhm.
What about the front?
It's 25 in the front.
Okay. Okay. I'm done, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Mayor, I'll move approval.
Uh,
I-
well, you can approve it, but I had one question. If, well, no, I mean, somebody
question-
can second.
Oh,
Somebody can
sec-
second it for,
Second for discussion.
no, I can second it for discussion.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And my question was not a question, Mr. Mayor. And I sit down with some of the residents, and we get to a compromise. And tonight, since we agree on the setback, and last time I voted against it because I did not have all the information, and no one from the neighborhood reached out to me and explained me exactly what they want to accomplish. And after sitting with them, and we come up to a conclusion that this is the right thing to do to protect the interests of the residents and also the commercial component in the area, then I will vote for it, and I hope that everyone is happy.
And Mr. Mayor, the sitting and talking to these residents, these are our homeowners. They are our taxpayers. They wasn't asking for much, and they're not asking for much, and we were able to come up to that compromise, which I think is fair. So I do thank you, Council, Vice Mayor, Bien-Aimé, and the other colleagues, and management for putting this back on. Thank
And
you.
sometime when there's an issue, and I hope that the residents come and talk to us prior to put it in on the agenda, so we know exactly what it is. It's not after we voted against it, then they come up and try to explain us exactly this is what they want to accomplish, and this is where we are. And I don't think anybody gonna get hurt with that resolution.
So, Mr. Joe, the people who are against this, what exactly are they against? I mean, how would they be affected in some negative way? I mean, how?
I'm not sure I can speak for the people who are against it. I think based on the comments I heard tonight, one of the concerns that Mr. Howard Tompkin mentioned as an opposer was changing the regulations for the folks who are within the commercial or industrial side of the district. They felt that it should stay as is and not have necessarily buffer language, is what I heard. I can't speak beyond what he said, but that's what I heard tonight.
But I remember there
Leave it
was
as is and not change it, is
one
what
of
I'm
the
hearing.
issue in the last discussion was what type of walls would be erected. I mean, are they free to put any type of walls, any type of walls
So
or fence?
I think what I heard was access. There were concerns as to whether or not there would be access on 12th place. And the way the language is written, that would be a wall or a fence. It doesn't mention anything about access on 12th place.
No, there
With
was a
gate or no gate?
there was a question whether there would be CBS walls.
Correct. So
Huh?
it depends on the use, if it's industrial. Yeah, if it's industrial, then the language that we have is that it's CBS or masonry wall. Other uses, then you could have a fence. But I think the sticking point is access from that district onto 12th place is what I'm hearing from the opposition side.
Or it's
tonight.
access.
Yes. Can cars traverse through that area, or is
Well,
it just
I
a solid wall and you
I
treat
used
it
to be
as
anyway.
a backyard?
Mm.
Is what I'm hearing based on the comments tonight.
All right.
And the step back in the back, excuse me, Mr.
It's
Mayor,
15.
remain the same.
Correct.
Okay.
15 feet.
So, Mayor, I do have a motion to approve made by Councilman Galvin. That motion was seconded by Councilman DeZume. Would you like me to proceed with a roll call vote?
Yes.
Mayor Joseph, how do you vote?
Yes.
I guess yes.
Councilman Galvin, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councilwoman Keys have abstained from voting. Vice Mayor Bieneme, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Councilman Dezume, how do you vote?
Yes.
Item passes with a 4-0 vote. Tab L, discussion regarding City of North Miami Municipal Complex.
The reason I ask about this discussion, hopefully it will be as short as can be, is I'm sure the manager and some other staff have had the opportunity to talk to all of the elected body. This is a project that has been on the way for over 3 years. For about 4 years, I should say. Stand back during the time of what was his name? Alim.
You forgot your city manager.
Alim Ghani. So of course it was more, it was a more limited project, which with the new vision and so forth, we've had many rendering now involving the east, side in the parking lot, and the parcels in front of it facing 125th Street, right across from the City Hall, and of course this area here from 125th all the way back to 123rd. So it's a very daunting project where we would entertain a 3P project. But the reason why I asked for the discussion is that, like I said, it's been 4 years, and we want to bring this city up to par, and the vision is really big, is very ambitious. I really wanted. I mean, there has been a lot of promises as far as timeline where we would get by a certain time, but that's all I keep getting, just promises of when, and thus far, nothing has happened. That's why I wanted I wanted to bring it, to the public and of course to the elected body, where we could have an open discussion, as well as the CEO of the city, Mr. Manager, and the deputy manager, to give us some points as to where we are, and or is it something we were going to be able to do at all, because I don't see anything moving.
Well, it is moving. As you know, we did receive a unsolicited proposal to do a P3, enter into a P3 agreement for the redevelopment of the our central downtown area, which would include the delivery of the public parking lot or public parking spaces that are required under the CRA agreement, interlocal, as well as the delivery of an administration building in exchange for the development rights for some of our surface lots that we have here in the downtown area. Per statute, that proposal requires us to go through a number of steps. Through working with the city attorney, we've had outside counsel assigned. They have received, reviewed the proposal, and are in the process of drafting an RFP document, if you will, because it would have to be a solicitation process in order to finalize the transaction. As you know, just for the public's sake, the P3 is not free money. It is really a financing mechanism. The city, and the offer that received, the city would be required to pay upwards of around $30 million, but also exchange property. And we have not agreed to anything, just so everybody knows. Nothing's been agreed to, but we are in the evaluation process. So our outside counsel is drafting the RFP as we speak. I myself have been working with procurement to have P3 consultant work with the city in our evaluation process, day-to-day operations. We've interviewed a few individuals and some firms, and we'll have to do some selection from our CCNA. I know it is, like you said, it is a very daunting task. It is a complicated transaction. And, you know, unfortunately, it's one of those ones that if we don't move in the right way, it will go wrong. So we're taking all of the appropriate steps to evaluate it, also follow state statute, and be able to educate the community and bring it back to the board for the completion of the process. So that's kind of where we are right now.
So what happened to that previous agreement that we voted on with those three potential participants? So that's null and void now. From the three, remember the three URM and the two other owners that we were talking about.
You mean the MOUs?
Yeah, yes,
Okay.
yes.
No, the MOUs were in place for us to be able to. That was when we were approaching it from the city being its own developer. By virtue of us getting this unsolicited proposal, that has kind of flipped. The private sector came to us and said, "We'll build it. We'll deal with any adjacent landowners," and so they would be dealing with those matters.
They would be dealing with
Yes.
them directly.
Yeah.
So I mean, so from all the legwork that you've done thus far, and the meetings with the experts and so forth, and the team that you have already, engaged, where do you see? Is there any timeline that you've established for yourself? Or for
We honestly, I've been doing a couple things. One, I know because of the complexity of it, I need to have a good RFP document. Jeff and I met with the outside counsel back in February and asked him to get a document to us as soon as possible. We have since gone out and met with the developer community because there will be a solicitation. So we have taken actually the same renderings that you've used in your state of the addresses. We've compiled that into a small presentation that we share with various what we would see as the interested development community to show them exactly what the site is. We haven't shared the actual proposal that we received, but here's what the plan would be. Here are some of the elements that would be required. We still need to solicit some feedback from the public, obviously, and educate the public. So, because this is
at what point
yeah.
do we get the public involved?
It would be post us having the RFP document.
After, okay.
That physical document, so we could then say, here are the remaining steps. But state statute is pretty clear. Once you get the proposal, you do your evaluation, you come up with design criteria, and then you put it out. You put out a solicitation. They would have to meet or beat the offer that we receive. Plus, there could be subjective points that you might want to add, joint ventures, minority participation, things of that nature in this, because we are talking about someone building a parking garage, mixed-use development, residential on city land potentially. But it is a great financing mechanism, and probably from what I'm seeing and the feedback we've gotten thus far, will probably save the city millions of dollars overall at the end of the day.
At the end of the- again, from the feedback you are getting, what do you foresee any in 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 6 weeks, that we may be ready of putting this thing out?
Well, I mean, as far as I know, this has been going on for about 2 years, and the one thing, at least as far as I've been involved.
4 years for us. For me, 4 years.
Okay, as far as I've been involved, it's been for the last 2
Yeah,
years.
for me, 4 years.
Talking to experts, and all the experts, they all say the same thing. This is a long process. It's a long process, and you don't have an opportunity to get it wrong the first time. And each P3 is different. I mean, one of the benefits that I've seen is that the manager has done these before, so we have a lot of expertise in-house. But one of the things they always say at every conference we go to, everyone we speak to, is when you've seen one P3, you've seen one P3. None of these are the same. And so, we're now trying to evaluate what we've got. Is it something that we can bring to the public. The last thing I want to do is bring something and it fails because we didn't educate ourselves, we didn't educate you, we didn't educate the residents on what it is exactly we're trying to do. Because I know when we've had discussions with people, you say P3, and people think someone's going to come in here and build a new city hall for us for free, and that's not what this is at all. And when you start hearing the numbers, it's, oh my God. I mean, just now the manager just said $30 million, but that could be scary to some people if you don't understand what that $30 million entails or what that $30 million is actually saving you in the long run. So it's an education process, it's a long process, and unfortunately, it's going to take a little bit.
All right. Any other comment? No? All right, citizen forum is now open.
Good afternoon or evening. Eileen B. Cava, 13350 Northeast 3rd Court. I am here to make a rebuttal on some of the statements made after my husband and I spoke about a Wendy's drive-through exception in the last council meeting, and to speak to the candidates running for the elections in the room. My husband and I were never confused about the ability of any business to build at the site of 135th Street and Northeast 3rd Court. In 2018, the intersection had the same amount of accidents as all other intersections combined between Memorial Highway and 16th Avenue. That makes it the most dangerous intersection on Northeast 135th Street. There is no ability to make a left turn. You're gonna take the most dangerous intersection and you're gonna add a Wendy's drive-through that adds more than 75 plus cars per hour to the most dangerous intersection on Northeast 135th Street. That's what this is about. Then since there is no ability to make a left turn, you're sending that traffic through my street. 3rd Court is not even a through street. You're sending it through the neighborhood. And you're gonna add that to trash, trucks, and loitering and other problems. That's what the problem is, and we are very aware that it's not, that any business can be built there. What we have a problem with is the drive-through and the high amount of traffic it's gonna bring, and it's not keeping it on 135th Street, it's putting it in our neighborhood. Thank you.
There's 2 mics, so both of y'all could come up.
William Prevotel, 11950 North Bay Shore Drive. I want to thank the council for their vote earlier, the unanimous vote, as well as I'd like to thank the city attorney and the city managers for their coming to terms with that settlement agreement. In the last item that was spoken about the municipal complex, we don't have drawings, or the city council has not made presentations in the last many months of the status of a municipal complex. In light of not having that, I'd like to pitch the idea that I've promoted for some time now, which is to have our structured parking south of Mocha Museum, north side of 123rd Street, where it would serve both the police department as well as Mocha Museum. If it was 4 or 5 levels, the lowest level would be accessed from the west for the police department and would be secured. From the east, Mocha people as well as city employees could access the rest of the parking lot. The top floor in this case could be used for Mocha expansion. It could be an outdoor sculpture court on the roof of that parking structure. The last ramp leading up to it could be an amphitheater as well. This eliminates the need for crossing the street from the parking lot as it is right now and having other complications there. It also allows for our new city hall to be placed between police station and the Mocha Cafe, where there is now parking, because we would now substitute additional parking. This would create the mega municipal block that has been spoken of so many times at the workshops, that has had so much support at the workshops. I'd like us to continue that support. please don't look at the parking lot to our east and just say, oh, it's a parking lot, let's throw up a parking structure where it will benefit people only to that side. Let's benefit the
Okay.
people that go to MoCA and the people that go to City Hall and accommodate that first. Thank you.
Jessica Alston, 1140 Northwest 125 Street in Sunkist Grove. Thank you, Councilwoman Carol Keys, for the informative housing workshop held on April the 1st, 2019 at the Gwen Margolis Center. The panel of attorneys answered a myriad of questions from the audience, and the table presenters offered helpful tools for housing assistance. What a surprise to see you in the kitchen. Your demonstration of hospitality was heartwarming. I'll play this video.
Kids, what are you doing? Look in here. We're feeding the residents with the affordable housing fair this evening. Affordable housing fair? Yeah, we got plenty of food. We just needed to cut it up a little. But we got a great panel. They're telling us about landlord-tenant rights, how to buy a first-time home, or first-time home buyers, how to help yourself in a foreclosure. Great panel. You look like you know what you're doing with that knife. Are you fooling us? You can cook? I'm a good Southern girl. I know all about chicken. Oh, we appreciate you, girl. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Thank you for your service. Thank you. Thanks for coming.
This video, if you would like to see it, you can find it on taplight.today. Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you,
Carol
Ms.
Keys.
Alston. Appreciate it. Thank you.
You never cooked for us.
I could.
We never asked, I guess. Citizens Forum is still open? See one, actually see none. Hear none. Citizens Forum is closed. Come here for reports. Do we have any reports from the?
Quickly, make sure everybody starts getting your shreddable personal papers ready. Bring them in black bags, and get all your electronic waste, computers, screens, TVs, monitors, anything. Bring them all out on Saturday, April 27th. Don't put them in the trash. We want to recycle. Thank you.
Just a couple of questions, Mr. Mayor. An update about Cagney Park and
Absolutely, sir. Thanks to the council approving it, we were able to send our money to the school board. We met with them, and we are quickly moving forward. We've asked them to do a ceremonial.
we send the $7 million.
Yes. We're moving forward with putting up the construction signs for the park, and we're currently planning to do a ceremonial groundbreaking with the school
The school
board.
board, yeah.
It looks like it'll be probably the end of April or
The
the
30th,
first.
are we set, Natasha, for the 30th? April?
Waiting on confirmation of the
Oh,
of the
waiting
date.
on confirmation, okay.
On the county side, I was able to contact Budget Director Jennifer Moon, as was requested by Commissioner Hayman. We've worked on filling out the paperwork to submit to get the reimbursement for the $5 million from the county. They'll let us know if they need to take an item or not. When I spoke to them, they said we may not even need legislative action. They may just be able to sign the grant agreement, and we can move forward with getting the money.
That's when you tell him, did they open the account, the escrow account for the 10.5? Or you send the money to them and
It
you
went to
waiting on?
the money went to the escrow account.
Oh, the money went to the escrow
Yes,
account.
that's correct.
That's when we already opened the account, and
Yes.
now we have the $10.5 million.
Yes, sir.
And we're waiting confirmation for a groundbreaking of the project.
Correct. And we've gotten verbal confirmation that we're getting the money from the reimbursement from the county.
From the county.
Yes, sir.
That's when the groundbreaking gonna be the city of North Miami and Miami-Dade School Board.
Correct.
Thank you.
And, well, in the county, if I get the money.
$10.5 million. It's 7 million from the city and 3.5 from the school board right now. That's been for April 30th. It's gonna be the school board and the city of North Miami. When we get the money back from the county commission, then maybe we will add the county on.
Per the grant agreements, we absolutely will have to add them. In fact, we'd have to we'd have to have GOB signage, and I think they have it all prescribed in the grant agreement. Right.
That's been since the 5 million reimbursement gonna be a part of the GOB, then we have to put the language on the board. Thank you.
Any other report?
No.
Yeah, on Friday. No, is it Friday or Thursday?
Oh, food, yeah.
Friday. On Friday from 10 to 1 o'clock, I believe, we will have the job fair. Actually, it's not just a job fair. I guess for short we call it that. It's something that we do every year to give the residents of, actually, everybody comes to it. It's not just the people of North Miami. We have to, this time, about 42 possible, employers and then people. We have the 3 universities, FIU, Johnson and Wales, as well as Berry University will be here, and Jackson Memorial Hospital. And there will be companies, that, have offer trainings and so forth. So please, make sure you make it there and bring your friends, sisters, people who are looking for opportunities. If they have a job and they want to be trained for a better job, and this is the opportunity to do it. So it will be starting. I think there will be food, right? Will there be any food? No? Finger foods? Food trucks. So it's gonna be a great event. So Taco Bell is gonna be there. So I like Taco Bell. Taco Bell and Pollo Tropical, and so it's from all walks, all strata of the city. If you're looking jobs, from top companies to small companies, they all will be here. So let your friends know. I don't know if there is a number for them to call. 305-895. What's the number here? Yeah. 9815? 305-895-9815? 9518. 9815. Thank you very much.
I have a quick question, Mr. Mayor. When it comes to Griffin, when are we going to have the workshop?
They actually met with Parks today, right? So the consultants started. They met with the staff today. They have a stakeholders meeting. Is it Thursday or Friday?
Derek is not paying that. He's not here. He's somewhere else.
Watching the game.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Derek Corker, Parks and Recreation. We have the meeting tomorrow scheduled for staff to meet with the consultant, and at 9:30, and at 11 with the JC and the Knights of Columbus.
Okay, and then after that, we're gonna schedule a workshop.
After that, a community workshop will be held.
Okay. Thank you.
Just very quickly, just wanted to give you a quick update. As you know, I traveled to Tallahassee a few weeks ago to ensure that our legislative representatives for our area, as well as others from the state of Florida, had our legislative priorities. We were able currently, and I'll say it that way, those items have made their way into the budget process, so we're looking good as of right now. Obviously, there are some other bills that we're monitoring with regards to Airbnb and exemptions that I know are a huge priority for the city. So just letting you know, we are monitoring that. I do have the weekly. I think we've been sending out the weekly updates, so we'll be sure to continue to get those to you. But as of right now, we're looking very good for our budget priorities.
Yes, a quick question on that note, because I did receive the report from our lobbyists. Is the senior program included in the priority for
Yes.
this fiscal year?
Yes, it is.
Okay, thank you.
What did you, can you give us an explanation of what you asked?
I don't remember the dollar amounts right off the top of my
What did
head.
you ask for the senior?
Yeah, can I
how
do
much it
this?
is?
Can I send you guys the report
Yes,
in the morning
please.
with the details? 'Cause I
And
don't-
can we have a detail on everything that you
Yeah,
asked
I'm gonna
for?
send you our actual submittal, so
Yeah.
you'll see all the detail on it. It'll discuss the program, the funding.
Not just the program, I'm talking about every item that you have on the agenda.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you everything.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Attorney?
Yes, Mayor, thank you for, just really quick, and I spoke to Councilman Desome about it, and this is an issue I wanted to bring to the council, So, as you may recall, back in February 6th is the day we started the Clean City team. There was someone illegally dumped, dozens of tires over on the west side in one of the alleyways. Luckily, we had the clean team, they picked it up. It happened again this weekend. Someone dumped, it's an entire container load of tires between 131st and 132nd and 10th Avenue. It's become an issue. I know we've had residents call about other areas in the city. There are things that we can do as an administration, but I wanted to bring it to the council's attention. One of the things I would like the council's approval, and I think it's below the manager's, it's below the, it's within his authority to do it, but I wanted it to come from the council. I would like to suggest that we immediately have a program where a rewards program, and have an award of, say, $5,000 for any information leading to the arrest of these individuals. I can work on an ordinance that can create an actual program as part of Clean City where we can do other things and create other incentives. But I think immediately we need to, as a city, make a statement that this is intolerable and this is not something, we can't be the dumping ground for Northeast Dade County. So if you could authorize us to do that, we'll get that out immediately. I know the police is going out right now, going through the area and talking to the tire companies to see if anyone is within the area. But we really need to deal with this issue. The cost, I don't have the cost. I was trying to get the cost tonight, but the cost of an entire container load of tires and the disposal fee is going to be quite a hit for the residents of the city. And it's not something we want to be doing every 60 days, which is what it seems to be at right now. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention and hope that you'll take that into consideration.
Also, Mr. Mayor, just a quick question, Jeff. We were talking about rebates or incentive for people who have cameras, and
Yes.
if they have one facing the street and they
It's in
get
the
a
back.
rebate, some type of incentive for that.
Any ideas
I
are
was
welcome.
talking with the
Yeah.
police department.
Yeah, any ideas are welcome. Like I said, I'll put something together, but it's something we really need to address. Councilman Desame gave us some great ideas, chaining up some of the properties. Barricades.
properties,
I'm sorry, but the alleyways.
The alleyways,
so
yes.
a vehicle wouldn't be able. So there's things
Yeah.
that we can do, but we have to take a proactive approach. One of the things I said is, I don't want the Clean City team to be the incentive for people to come dumping because now we've got a free cleaning service for you.
Yes.
That's not the purpose of this team. And so we need to address it. That's there when it's needed, but it shouldn't be every 60 days someone comes and dumps a truckload of tires in the city.
Absolutely.
There is also, to piggyback on this, I would like to say on the east side of 2nd Avenue, leading to 119, when 119, I'm not sure whether it's North Miami, it could be unincorporated Dade. I don't know if you see the area where I'm talking about. There are some, like about 5 or 6 mattresses.
Oh my God.
They've been lying there for days. As a matter of
Yeah.
fact,
That's probably
Not
Dade.
West 7, unincorporated
Unincorporated Dade.
unincorporated.
19th, it gets-
Yeah, but it's very.
It's on
crazy.
it's on the north
It's on
side
one-
though.
Yeah, it's still.
It's on the north side of
There's parts of
119.
it's
119 on the
still-
north side that's still unincorporated.
Mhm.
Miami
It's
start on
crazy.
120.
Yeah.
120, like
Because you have a portion that where you have District 4 that cut off from Northwest 2nd and then from
So it's
Northeast.
something we have
Like
to
the
address
church
with.
or the school is not even in North Miami. But around the school, Gratney is
after
in
the
North
school,
Miami.
Yeah.
east
But
side.
I would definitely support that initiative, Mr. Attorney. But we also talk about those Ring cameras have been amazing, Chief. We need to put some in those alleyways and ask the residents, and maybe we could give them incentive to use their Wi-Fi so that we could get connection, because this cannot continue. I mean, I think this is the second one within 3 months, and it looks like it's probably
63
the
days.
same,
It's
the
definitely
same
the same
people.
people.
So maybe you give the reward, but cameras or something. So if you need us to sponsor it, I'll be more than happy to do so.
Is the council comfortable with a $5,000 reward, or do you want a larger amount?
$5,000 is a lot, but I don't know.
Yeah.
But it costs more than 5,000 to remove
To
them.
remove it, that's the problem. Yeah.
Yeah, but we will remove them anyway. Even if we catch them, we will remove them.
Yeah, but we are
Yeah, but
as
at
the
least you
person
will
and the
arrest the
company.
person.
We can sue the company.
Goes to the company.
If we can get an arrest, if we can get it, like I was telling the manager, there are other programs where, and it's just something that we'd have to do later on. But there are ordinances in other cities where information leading to an arrest of someone or the fine, you as the person reporting it would get half the fine that the city collects.
All right.
Something like that. But right now, since we don't have the ordinance before, it's the only thing we can do is to say this is the dollar amount. Let the chief go out and let people know. We can advertise it, and so maybe we can get some information leading to the arrest of whoever is doing this.
Okay.
All right, so we are obviously in election season.
No, you were looking for direction, or you good before the clerk go?
no,
Okay.
You have the direction.
Okay, perfect. Go ahead, Mr. Clerk. I'm sorry.
So as the North Miami residents should know by now, we have our general North Miami election to be held on May 14th, 2019. Today was our last day of qualifying. Today at noon, we have approximately 16 candidates who have qualified to run for office here in the city of North Miami during our general 2019 election. If you want a list of the candidates who have qualified, you can go on the City of North Miami website, or you can come by the clerk's office, and we'll be more than happy to hand you a list of the qualifying candidates. Early voting for our upcoming election will begin on April 29th, which is a Monday, and that will begin at the North Miami Public Library, and it will end Sunday, May 12th. And again, our general election is dated for May 14th. In the event that an individual in any particular race does not receive more than 51% of the votes, we will have a runoff, and that runoff election date will be June 4th, 2019. If that's the case, you'll get additional instructions after the May 14th election. As for yours truly, this will be my last council meeting sitting up here as your city clerk. For those who don't know, I am one of the qualified candidates for District 3. So Gertie is the supervisor of election, and she's being assisted by Fonz Daniels. The reason why this will be my last election my last council meeting sitting here before our May 14th election is because during our next council meeting, I will be hosting a training session for the 3 clerks who have qualified to run for clerk, and during the next council meeting, I'll be downstairs at the office. I think I'll be here for a presentation, but I'll be downstairs in my office training the 3 potential city clerks on how we conduct council meetings, and we're gonna watch the meeting downstairs, and I'm just gonna basically host a training session for our potential city clerks, and it's about 3 of them. As for me, it's really tough to walk away from something that you've been so attached to. I lived in North Miami all my life for the most part. Went to William Jennings Bryan Elementary School, North Miami Middle School, North Miami Senior High School. When I left the Broward Public Defender's Office, I opened my law firm here at the age of 24 in North Miami. So I have a lot of attachment to the city, but especially to the seat. I sat on this chair since I was 27 years old. And now at the age of 35, it's just mind-boggling how time just flies when you're enjoying something. And I got to tell you, being the city clerk for the city, being the elected clerk at the time, one of the youngest elected individuals in the state of Florida, and of course, by far the youngest elected official elected citywide in the city of North Miami, it's been one of the greatest joys of my life, next to becoming an attorney. And for those of you who think that I should have expected being here, you can have conversations with people from your police department. Talk to Chief Jariga, talk to Belcher, talk to those guys who's been around. At the age of 13, 14, I was always sitting at the holding cells here in the city of North Miami. And I mean, we used to get arrested and disciplined by officers who are still currently on the job. And to go from that, single mom, had 6 kids, she did her best, but of course I was always a problem child. And to get as lucky as I did, to become an attorney, start trying cases at 23, to open up my own law practice at 24, that was great. But to get elected here at the age of 27 and to be able to serve in the same city that I grew up in was one of the greatest honors of my entire life. And you know, you gotta have, I don't have separation issues, but it is a little tough to have to separate from this. I may never be up here again, depending on what happens May 14th or June 4th. And even if that was the case and I'm no longer here, I still really did get lucky in life, and I have no reasons to complain. I think God has done remarkable things with me, and of course, He's allowed us at the clerk's office to really, really make a very big difference to a lot of people, especially individuals in the Caribbean American community. And of course, I got a couple of staff members to thank, because I'm going to read some of our accolades, just one, just passport revenues. When I came in 2011, the city budgeted only $30,000 for passport, because we're expecting to only receive $30,000 in revenues in passports. That year, despite the fact when I came in 2011, our revenue for passports was $58,100. So we went above the projected estimate by $28,000. Last year alone, in 2018, our office collected $187,575 in passport revenue. So over the past 8 years to date, the city clerk office received $1.125 million in passport revenues, and it's all thanks to the great staff and the great system we had down there. Over the past 8 years I've been there, we get inspected by the United States Department of State at least once every 2 years. The first year I was here, I think we got inspected. We didn't really win any awards or so, but 2 years, thereafter, we were able to win 2 awards, one on 2014, and the other was on January 5th, 2017. And this is from the Department of State, and they basically acknowledged the City of North Miami Clerk's Office for providing exemplary services to our community here in the City of North Miami. And obviously, I didn't do that all by myself. I had a slew of staff, primarily 6 main full-time staff that I want to acknowledge and thank for their work well done, the job well done that they've provided at the clerk's office when I was their leader. And that's Sarah Barrett, Raphael Patron, Stephanie Thomas, Cheryl Vernette, and my current 2 staff members who's there full-time holding the fort down, and that's Gertie Jose and Fonzie Daniels. We had a lot of part-time employees to come and go, but these 6 individuals are the reason why the clerk's office became so successful over the past 8 years. And so with that being said, I'm going to still be here during the next meeting, probably during the presentation segment, but I want to thank the City of North Miami for giving me this remarkable privilege to serve as your elected clerk. And I'm still the clerk until someone else is sworn in. But short of that, this is in fact my last meeting up here. You'll be seeing Gertie's face here. But for what it's worth, I want to thank you all and the mayor and council and the administration. I want to except for Carol, but I want to thank everybody for your support. I want to thank everybody for, I've never asked the administration or the mayor and council, whatever we needed, they always provided. They always opened doors for us to help people in the community. And over the past 8 years, we've seen roughly 90,000 people. We've done the numbers, we looked at them, and it's just amazing. And the mayor and council and the administration, with the exception of, have always been a supporter. And I want to thank you all for what you guys have done. And I want to thank you all for supporting the clerk's office all these years. I love you all, and again, North Miami.
Thank you very much. One last thing, I will be doing you guys a disservice and the people who are watching this on TV, because I don't think we have this list online. Last time I asked, we didn't. That's the list of the people who are going to be here on Friday. So I'm just going to, there are 42 of them, but I'm only going to read a few so that people can be more motivated to actually come. As you heard earlier, the gentleman mentioned that there is a very high rate of unemployment in the city of North Miami. We are actually higher than Miami-Dade County. So as a local city, we've been doing our best, and we still continue to do our best to really engage the community, to be there for them. And we've gone as far as last meeting, we passed a resolution, with unanimous vote to start an internship program for kids who are graduating from high school. So Solemia is going to be there on Friday, 10 o'clock, from 10 to 1 o'clock. Ramada Plaza Marco Polo Beach Resort, Career Source, Florida. Lexus Toyota Warren Henry. And the next one worth mentioning is Royal Caribbean is going to be here. Florida International University, Miami Marlins is going to be here. Elite Guard and Security School. Taco Bell is going to be here. Miami Portal Eagle Protection. Florida Memorial University, Bryant Security, Lux Parking Management. These are all the people who are offering jobs. Pollo Tropical, Right Hire Staffing Solution. Adeco Staffing. South Beach Group Hotels, Caballero, Rivero Funeral Home, the Palm Hotel and Spa, the Marseille Hotel in Miami, in South Beach, LSF Shuttle for drivers, Johnson and Wales University, and FPNL is going to be here, as well as Starbucks. But there will be no Wendy's. I'm sorry. With this, with these,
What about,
Oh, it is online. Oh, okay. So this
let me ask
is
this,
actually online.
Mr. Mayor, what about the city of North Miami?
Of course,
Because how we hosting something?
City of North Miami
Huh?
Police.
We
City
are-
of North
we're
Miami
both-
Police is gonna be there too. I guess we are hiring, right?
Yeah, just the police. Arthur, what's going on?
So the manager just confirmed the list is on our website.
And the city clerk gonna be.
Okay. With that, we need a motion to.
So move.
Second.
Alrighty. Thank you very much. Have a good night.